All right. So, again, doing spooky episodes from season 2 of TNG. This particular one is one of those that is on the deep end of the WTF meter. Why? Because it was originally written as a Q prank and then rewritten because they felt that they'd done too many Q pranks. And so they'd made it a random temporal anomaly with no known cause, which makes it incredibly bizarre. And also one of those things where it's like, oh, I really, really don't want that to happen to me, like at all, ever, for any reason. See, what it is that the Enterprise is flying like normal, and suddenly this vortex opens. Oh, and also they found in a shuttlecraft that had been launched from the Enterprise D 6 hours in the future, a duplicate of Picard. The duplicate is temporarily out of phase and thus so disoriented that he's unable to see the world around him normally. It's like trying to act out what he'd done before, getting temporarily displaced, which is a very, very strange thing in Star Trek because normally that's not the way getting temporally shifted works in Star Trek. This wasn't time travel in the conventional sense. What exactly it was isn't clearly explained either, and that's part of what makes the episode so strange. Is the future Picard can't talk to anyone. He will, in some occasions, react to things, but he won't react to what's actually happening. He reacts to what he remembers happening. And if what he remembers happening is what's currently actually happening, then his reactions will make sense. And that's where the episode like really jumps the shark is that this episode makes a whole lot more sense if you look at it as a Q prank because why is this time vortex obsessed with Picard? That makes sense if it was a Q prank. It doesn't make sense if it's just a random time anomaly. But one could say that, oh, well, uh, the time vortex is doing it in the second iteration and didn't actually do that in the first iteration. And that's because of the fact that the um, first iteration version of Picard is in the present and is causing a temporal anomaly. Eh, no, because of the fact that the whole personal nature of the temporal anomaly is the entire reason why future Picard uh, took a shuttlecraft into the anomaly. Also, one of the things that's mentioned in the episode is that the temporal anomaly does have a mind. It has thoughts. And in the finished episode, they don't investigate what kind of thoughts, what kind of mind. It and that's the reason why it's like targeting Picard is that it's thinking, it's directing its abilities in very, very strange ways. That again, if it was a Q prank, it would make sense. And it was originally written as a Q prank. It's just one of those things that's just like incredibly creepy and weird though, and the way it came out because leaving out Q makes it a giant mystery box. I wouldn't call it a nothing burger. It's not a nothing burger. However, it's one of those things where it's like a mystery meat sandwich, where after eating the sandwich, you still don't know what kind of mystery meat was in the sandwich. And that is what makes it so strange and creepy. It's not supernatural kind of creepy and spooky, but it's fear of the unknown kind of creepy and spooky because the fact that there is something very, very unknown. Oh yeah, also, they have the shuttlecraft logs too, and there's something wrong with them, and that's the fact that that whole like temporal displacement thing where they're not, it's like out of phase with time, I think is the phrase they used for it. The shuttle is also out of phase with time. So trying to download its logs doesn't work right. Oh yeah, the whole variable phase inverter. That's a method of, well, it was used as a method to make the energy flow through the computer system in a at a different speed than it normally would, so that they can compensate for the fact that time is progressing at a different speed in the shuttlecraft's computer than outside it. Yeah, really, really weird concept even for Star Trek. And trying to understand that concept and figure out what's going on was the focus of the episode. Because again, they figure out the whole like, oh, he's from the future thing in Act One. Figuring out what to do about it, they don't actually figure that out until Act Five. It's also notable that future Picard never actually tells present Picard anything that he didn't actually do. He reacts to the idea of just like flying the Enterprise D into the center of the vortex, but doesn't say that he had ever personally considered doing such a thing, which is also a very, very strange thing. It's because like he's having an emotional reaction. You can read his feelings by looking at his facial expressions, but you can't get him to answer a question about it. Huh? Because at this point, Picard actually was having a conversation with his future self. It's just that what his future self was saying was highly limited in ways that don't logically make sense because this is a different kind of temporal paradox than what you normally see in fiction. And the writers had a hell of a lot of fun figuring up a way to make temporal paradoxes even more confusing and weird than they normally are. And if you want to go for that in a TTRPG, oh boy, have fun writing that mess. It would freak out the players, though. If you really, really wanted to freak out the players, this would absolutely freak out the players. The visual of the time vortex in this one was also a weird one. It's because it's like a 4 or 5 dimensional object. It's like, oh, it's a whirlpool that's bigger on the inside. Hmm. Kind of like trails off into the distance where you're like, wait, it's fading out of sight, not actually ending. Where did it go? Oh well. Anyways, that's enough about that, I think. Very, very strange concept, and something even Star Trek doesn't revisit regularly. So, if you wanted to have something really, really weird and off the wall for a one-shot adventure, hey, you know what? This would probably catch people off guard. Well, that's enough for now. See you later.